Yeah. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Snug Wrestling Podcast. Boy, do we got an action-packed episode for you guys tonight. This episode of Friday Night SmackDown has given us a lot to talk about. I mean, we had a crazy main event for good and for bad and indifferent. Nia Jax is back on her bullshit. We were having such a great episode of SmackDown up until that point. I actually got to see someone wrestle that really stood out to me tonight. We got someone from NXT showing up out of nowhere for the United States Open Challenge. We have so much stuff to go over tonight, but first, Mr. Blood and Tommy, they're here with us tonight. What's going on, fellas? How y'all feeling today?
Feeling pretty good. Going viral again on TikTok. That's nice. And I've only got 3 chapters left to write in my first draft of my book before I start second draft. It'll be published in spring. Other than that, really excited. We're 2 weeks away from, I think we're 2 weeks away now from Crown Jewel, which so far has a card I am extremely interested in. And as we said the other night, or as I said last night when you and I did our one-on-one live on TikTok Live, if you'd like to see that episode, by the way, please check out the podcast on Apple and Spotify. This card is already starting to make up for me what a lot of the letdown at WrestlePalooza was. And honestly, as the shows go on, I am growing more and more excited for that card. Shaping out to be probably going to be the sleeper hit of the fall, if you ask me, as far as wrestling PLEs is concerned. We got some good shit going on, and I think tonight probably set that even further in the right direction, aside from Mondays after WrestlePalooza Raw. So, yeah.
Tommy, how you feeling, dude?
Feeling good. It was a interesting show. As you said, we've got Javon Evans showing up, but we'll get to that later. But overall, the show, great. Main event was iffy, so we'll get to that later.
Actually, it was way more than iffy. It was a total car wreck. It was a fucking shit show. And I would actually like to get started with that because I got to get this off my chest, and I'm going to do my review and my analysis of the main event. And I would please if you guys, try not to like jump in or interrupt me until after I'm done, because I have a lot to say about this fucking main event, okay, that we saw, because holy shit, you guys. First of all, it was a triple threat match, women's championship match, Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax, and Jade Cargill. And at first, we were already kind of skeptical about this whole thing because the winner of this is supposed to face Stephanie Vaquer at Crown Jewel. And we were already like, okay, out of these 3 women, we don't really know who we want to win. We don't know who we want Stephanie Vaquer to face at Crown Jewel. It was just like one of those things that it was just like up in the air. It's just like whoever wins, it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference, right? So the match started, and from the beginning, the match was kind of hard to watch. There was a shit ton of commercials during this match. Like literally, like we would go to a commercial break, come back, and like 30 seconds later, they took us to like at least 3 different commercial breaks in this main event, which lasted, it was a 15-minute main event. And I felt like we had a shit ton of commercials. Okay, that's WWE. That's how it works. But literally, we came back from a commercial break, and the first spot that we see is Tiffany Stratton trying to do a fucking dive out of the middle rope, and she gets caught up in the ropes. She completely misses a dive, and I'm just thinking like, man, Tiffany Stratton has had a rough couple of weeks, because a couple weeks ago she did a moonsault from the top rope and she almost fucking knocked herself silly, almost concussed herself, and now she's doing these dives and she's not clearing the rope. And it was, this whole match from the beginning was a complete mess, but it gets worse. It gets way worse from there, you guys. Fucking Nia Jax again, man. She is back on her bullshit. I felt like, Nia Jax has a bad reputation for like the longest time where she would just injure people left and right. And she did it again to Jade Cargill in this match in the main event. There was a spot where Nia Jax throws Jade Cargill in the steel steps head first. And you can tell from the angle that we saw, the camera angle that we saw, it did not look good. The reaction from the crowd that was in the front row was, they were like, oh my God. And what do you know? Fucking Jade Cargill got severely fucking injured in this match. Her whole entire eyebrow, her fucking left eye was all fucking just smashed up. She got busted open in a nasty way. And from there, it just got from worse to fucking just, it was a fucking mess of a match, dude. Okay. Jade Cargill, I felt like she did what she could. Okay. She saw an opportunity to get herself over. I got busted open. I'm going to show my open wound on the camera. And she did. And she was like flat showing it off on the camera. Okay, cool. You know, there was an opportunity for her to show I'm tough, I'm bad, whatever. Cool. Then they go back in the ring. And then I think because of that injury that Jade Cargill suffered, the whole entire match just went from one thing to another because Nia Jax was getting pinned by Tiffany Stratton and the referee was counting 1, 2, Nia Jax doesn't kick out and the referee stops counting. And I'm already thinking like, okay, like this whole entire thing just, they lost the plot. They lost total control of this. No one knows what the fuck they're doing anymore. It's a complete fucking mess. I think Nia Jax realized, holy shit, Jade Cargill is literally fucking fucked up. I busted her shit wide open. Let's just fucking call it. Let's go home. Nia Jax didn't kick out and the referee stopped fucking counting. So fucking Tiffany Stratton just said, okay, I'm just going to hit my moonsault and I'm going to win this thing. She did. Tiffany Stratton won, but this whole fucking main event was a fucking mess. I can't believe the shit that I saw on this episode of SmackDown, you guys. That's what I saw. But what did you guys see?
So we have to kind of look at this from two different ways, right? One, it could be Nia messed up and she injured someone again. Or two, you have to look at it from the other side of that, the other perspective, that it's Jade's fault. Jade should have put her hand out and protected her face. That's what you do when you take a face plant fucking bump into the announcer's table or into the turnbuckles or on the apron. Especially, I mean, it's a classic spot to grab someone by the back of the head, slam them head first in the stairs. It's pretty normal to get picked up and launched into the steps. Hell, Irish whipped until you bang over it and knock it into two pieces. I mean, we have people this year who have literally taken the top of the steps and physically thrown them across the outside floor at each other's heads. Like not even holding it. They just tossed it at your face. And you put your hands up in time. This is where my opinion is split. Hard for me to blame Nia when Nia's job ended when she basically launched Jade Cargill, when she threw her into the steps. Her job's over. She put Jade where Jade's supposed to go. It's on Jade to protect herself at that point. Because you are the one careening into an object, you have to put that's like if I fucking Irish whip you into the steel post. If you take that face first and don't put your hand up to protect your fucking head, that's your fault. I've done my job. I have put you in the direction that you are supposed to go. It is on you to protect your face. I am behind you. So, when it comes to that, I kind of think the blame might go on Jade. And that's just my honest opinion. As for Tiffany Stratton, when it comes down to it, I've been saying ad nauseum on this podcast for fucking the entire goddamn spring to summer where we're just like, we're in fall now. I've said the entire summer, I don't think Tiffany's ready. Tiffany cannot go through a single match without a botch. She cannot go through a single match without a missed timing. She cannot go through a single match without almost getting injured. Have you noticed that? Like, it's consistent with her to the point of it's scary. And when it comes to Jade is one of those performers who might need more choreography in her matches. And most of the matches are called in the ring nowadays. There's spots that you have thought out and planned out. And yeah, sure, some guys are so meticulous that they want an entire match choreographed. Randy Savage was notorious for that. Every single fucking piece of the mat, every place you were, he wanted choreographed. But when it comes down to it, most people call it in the ring, or there's someone who's calling the match between the two people, and the ref just keeps the time. When it comes down to it, Jade's nowhere near ready for that kind of pressure. I don't think Tiffany's ready for that kind of pressure. I think Nia is used to it. I think Nia, out of the three of them, is the best professional out of the three, because she was at one point the worst woman on the roster when it came to safety and everything. And since she has come back, she has proven time and time again that she is now one of the great players, that she can be safe, that she can be trusted. But since these two are on the roster, they have consistently proven, out of everybody else, these two are the most accident prone.
We got a quick comment here from Jasmine Smart on X. The girls' match was so botched, but poor Jade did genuinely get hurt.
And it's actually cool. I can actually see these comments now for the first time ever. Just popped up on my screen. But when it comes down to it, look, Jade could have lost an eye. It was that close. She could have lost an eye. It's one of those things where it sucks. It's a part of the job. Injuries are going to happen. Very rarely a wrestler ever goes through a whole career without getting hurt. But at the same time, I don't think it's fair to put it on Nia when your opponent's job is to protect you, but there are certain spots that your opponent can only do half the job and the rest has to be on you. If you knew you were taking a bump into the stairs, why was your hand not here?
But also, Mr. Blood, this is where I have to disagree with you, because if you're, okay, say me and you are in a wrestling match, right?
Okay.
The position that we're standing, if we're standing that close to the steel steps, then I should, as a professional wrestler like Nia Jax is, I should be able to determine how much strength I need or how much power I need to throw you against the steel steps, depending on the distance. If we're standing that close to the steel steps, I'm going to throw you with the minimal amount of power, because you're trusting me to throw you at a certain force against the steel steps. If I fucking launch you with all my force standing that close, that's on me. That's not on you.
Not exactly. Why wasn't Jade already prepared to take it? Her hand should have already been up. Have you ever seen a table spot where someone gets smacked off the announcer table? When they get their head thrown back like this, and then they're about to go down, their hands are already up here to go boom, straight on the table. Their hands are up before their head goes down. They're already ready to take the protected spot. That's the same thing. You get launched into the turnbuckle. Someone throws you. Your hands are here. Boom, already ready. Jade should have had her hands here from the moment Nia grabbed her. Jade should have been like this, ready to make it look like she was, and she'd already had her hands here. Should have been here the whole time, the entire time. That comes down to Jade not timing herself.
We have another comment here by Jasmine Smart. Apparently, Nia failed to tap out just before the end. You can see the ref literally saying, "I'm so sorry." Do you guys think that it was Nia or the ref miscounted?
I think the ref was off kilter a lot of that match.
I also believe that Nia Jax realized, holy shit, Jade Cargill is fucking hurt badly. Let's fucking take this home. Let's get this over with. And
the problem is, let's just say that Nia was trying to rush to the finish. Let's just say, because Nia is the actual veteran here. Let's just say that Nia was trying to call an audible and wrap it up, take it home. Clearly, the planned finish is either way Tiffany goes over. That's the thing. Tiffany's supposed to go over. Now, Nia, as the veteran, knows I have to get to a position where Tiffany goes over. Once everything happened with Jade, I think the ref must have gotten worried or nervous, was getting too much information from the back. Check on Jade, check on Jade. Hey, what about this? Hey, go to this. Hey, we're going to go to this. Hey, commercial this. And there was so much information. I think the ref got so confused and didn't realize that pin was supposed to be a kick out, or Nia was so confused by everything. She forgot to kick out because she's so worried about everything that just happened that the ref just stopped counting. The ref needs to, I'm sorry. Back in the old days, Vince McMahon used to pay his refs for shoot counting. No matter what happens, you got paid extra to shoot count, so you didn't have awkward finishes like this.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a famous story of Ted DiBiase getting mad about a ref that Cody Rhodes tells all the time, where he thought the ref was going into business to get an extra bonus pay to screw him out of his victory. And Ted DiBiase, famously the junior, by the way, comes backstage and goes, "That ref was trying to fuck on me." But that's because he was good. But that's exactly what he said in Cody's words. That's why the story is so funny, because that's how he phrased it. But it's because back then it was a known memorandum that all refs were expected, no matter what happened in the ring, you must shoot count 3.
Yeah, dude,
and
you have to.
Must have gotten rid of that rule, because I don't care what's going on. My sport, this needs to look legitimate. I'm sorry if Tiffany fucking loses the match or isn't, or that's not supposed to be the finish, or you still have 5-10 minutes left in the show. Figure something out.
Yeah.
Okay. But count that 3. There are people that paid to be there in attendance, many of them off the backs of this main event. So as far as I'm concerned, the ref should have counted the 3, not stopped awkwardly. Just count the shit. If you don't see anybody switch with your shoulder, hit the fucking mat, ref. What are they going to do in the back? Get mad at you that they're not fucking. Well, what do you want me to do, guys? Make it look illegitimate?
Yeah.
Fuck you. If they're mad about that, they're not professional. I'm sorry. Because at the end of the day, you could figure out another way to do it. You could do a rematch, a one-on-one next. Say Nia got screwed by the ref or this. That. The point is, count it legitimate, and then figure out what. Maybe you could do a whole beatdown spot after. Call an audible, do a beatdown spot. Stand tall over Tiffany or whatever, and go an extra 5 minutes till the clock runs out on the TV. Fill the airwaves to send the crowd home with something crazy. But this was an egregious mess, start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
The ref was off timing. Tiffany and Jade are always off timing. Always. That's why their SummerSlam match was so fucking rehearsed. And then Nia, who has gotten consistently better, got spooked tonight. Because in my opinion, that spot on the stairs is Jade's fault. Protect your fucking self. I don't care how legitimate you want the sell to look. Fucking already should have had your hands up to protect yourself.
Well, Tommy's also in the house. Tommy, what's going on, dude? How you doing,
What's
man?
up?
What do you think about all this, dude?
When are y'all gonna get to me on this? But my thoughts are simple. We have said time and time and time again, I am pretty sure that out of these 3, we have said this the most about Jade Cargill specifically. She should not have been called up to the main roster when she was. She should have stuck with NXT. She should have just went straight to there instead of coming straight to the main roster. That is something that we have said over and over and over again. I believe that is one of Blood's most biggest sayings, because he was the main one that said it over and over and over again, that Jade Cargill should not have been called up to the main roster when she was. She should have went to NXT. Plain and simple. There is no damn doubt about that, and this proved that. It is very clear that Stratton is not ready. She never was, really. They gave her the title too soon, in my opinion. So my main thought on this is I'm getting a little bit worried about Crown Jewel, because she's going to go head-to-head against Stephanie Vaquer. So I'm hoping that Tiffany Stratton does not ruin that match, because Vaquer is so good in the ring. She's so quick, all of that. So I am hoping that Tiffany Stratton does not screw that match over just because of the fact that she's in it. Now with Nia, I look at that, I'm like, okay, Nia is Nia. When it comes to injuries, one of the most notorious injuries was Nia Jax breaking Becky Lynch's nose, becoming thus the creation of the man, Becky Lynch, and that character. So at that point, that is like one of the most notorious injuries when it comes to Nia Jax is her injuring Becky. So injuries when it comes to Nia Jax, that's not surprising whatsoever. I do agree that Jade Cargill has to take some, if not all, of the blame for that because of the fact that, as Blood has said, she absolutely should have been ready. She should have taken the initiative to put her damn hands up, and she just refused to do that.
Yeah,
The reason
I
I
don't know
say
about
that
that.
too-
Hold on, Mr. Blood. Hold that thought. I got to read this comment by Jasmine Smart. It says that she's new to WWE, started watching at SummerSlam, and she's been doing her homework. How do you guys feel about she's been constantly hearing that WWE has been going downhill? That's a really good question. And I feel like that is a topic that we can cover in like we can't just answer this question and just really quick, can we, Mr. Blood? Like, this is a whole other topic,
I
right?
can give you a very quick, like 30-second synopsis. The 30-second synopsis is this. It's not that WWE is going downhill at the moment. It's that the parent company TKO is making a lot of financial decisions that are making WWE look greedy by proxy. And it's starting to push a lot of mainline, deep, seated fans out because they're getting priced out. The stories feel like they're being rushed because they want to keep putting more shows in the calendar than the year can handle and in time to even build meaningful stories. And because of that, it feels like nothing's getting enough time to simmer. It feels like everything is a money grab right now. And it's not really WWE's fault. It's TKO who runs WWE, who's making all these changes and forcing them to do this stuff because they're in charge of them. And they want them to be so much like UFC, the other company that they own, that they're trying to copy and paste UFC's business structure all over WWE, and it's not working.
Fair enough. Well, I hope that answers your question there, Jasmine. Thank you for your comment.
But when it comes to to finalize the Jade thinks we can move on. Here's the reason I'm putting the blame on Jade. Because at the end of the day, that stare spot is one of those things that would have been discussed ahead of the match. It's not like she wasn't aware it was coming. So if you know that it's a part of your match, that means you would have been ready to protect yourself to take it. That's my thing. Because you don't usually run into foreign objects, drop people on tables, kick them over the barricades, unless that's beats of the match that you discuss to tell the story of the match. The stairs is usually always going to be a discussed thing. When it comes down to it, Jade should have protected herself. Nia, and fairly enough, Nia probably used a little too much strength, but I don't see Nia just ragdolling 145, 150 pound fucking muscle bound woman like she's nothing, because Jade's is not a piece of paper. Jade's a shit brick house of muscle. She's not light. So it's not like and Nia is not stronger than Jade. So it's not like she's just flinging her around anywhere she fucking wants. Okay. Jade has to take some of the blame because Jade went to sell it and did not protect herself for the sell that she wanted to sell. Nia probably should have backed up a little. Jade's hand should have still been up the entire time. You are always trained as a wrestler to be prepared to protect yourself at all times. Period. Point blank.
This is another case of Nia Jax not knowing her own strength. She's done it before millions of fucking times. Like, there's so many things that Nia could have done to avoid this. Like, instead of shooting her straight into the steel steps, Nia Jax could have grabbed her, swinged her around. Hey, it's coming. 360. I'm going to turn you around and then launch you against the steel steps. So Jade Cargill knows like, okay, it's coming. I got to register this. Give me enough time to put my hands up in the way. But no, Nia Jax grabs her and just fucking launches her against the fucking steel steps.
Yeah, but Jade was already in place for that. So Jade knows it's coming. That's my point. She knows where she is outside the ring. She knows, hey, being outside of the ring at this point in the match means this spot is next. She should have been prepared. The moment she felt Nia touch her, she should have put her hands up. It's both of their faults, but I'm putting most of it on Jade.
Fair enough.
If you know you're launching your head at a corner of a piece of steel, my instincts say I'm going to put my hands up as early as possible to brace for this.
Nia Jax just does not have good timing in the ring, period.
I would say that
He does not.
I would say none of these girls have great timing. And out of the three of them, Nia has the best because she's the most experienced. Because all I've seen from Jade and Tiffany for the last year is mistiming, near miss, near injury, botch in nearly every match all of them have had for the last year.
That's true. That's fair. You're right. The past couple of weeks, Tiffany Stratton has had some rough matches.
Don't forget a lot of the spring this year.
Yeah.
This was the first time those dives almost took her out. Then you forget the girl who forgot to catch her. And then she drops flat on her head and her neck. It's been happening all year with her.
So you're right. So you have that. You have Tiffany Stratton. And then you have Jade Cargill, who we've seen.
Green. Too green.
And then you have Nia Jax, who's a fucking wrecking ball in the ring, literally. And you put all three of these women in the ring together in a triple threat match.
I gotta be honest, I was worried about this match when it got announced. I was worried the entire time that I was like, these three together sounds like a really bad idea. Because they had to rehearse the most rehearsed match I've seen all year is Jade versus Tiffany at SummerSlam. The most rehearsed match I've seen all year. And I thought, oh my God, you throw another third person there who has to also remember everything. I'm like, good. There's a reason Jade versus Tiffany only went like 7.5 minutes at SummerSlam. Because they had to get through it as quick as possible.
And that was her best match.
And that was her best match. Overly rehearsed.
Yeah.
You can't do that every match. That's the problem. WWE jumped the gun, got too excited when they heard that she was a free agent, heard, hey, we can stick it to AEW because she was a big AEW star, realized she was too green and they had to retrain her when she came in because they quote unquote said she was trained wrong. So they had to retrain her at the Performance Center. And instead of putting her in NXT for a year so she could hone her craft and learn from people learning alongside her, so she could team build her style and how to work properly with dozens of other people doing the same thing, they threw her on the main roster and realized, she's still not good. Throw her in a tag team with Bianca Belair, who can do most of the work, take most of the damage, so she can get protected and she can become a bigger star because she's with Bianca Belair. And we'll make her a champion and we'll rush the shit out of this. It's something Vince would have done. And look how it's worked out.
Yeah. Wow, what a fucking crazy ass main event for all the wrong reasons
and I hope
that we just saw.
I hope to God she's okay.
Hi, Mom. Yes, Mom, I'm recording the podcast. Say hi. Say hi, Mom. Hello.
Hi.
That's Mama
Hi.
Snug.
Hi,
I'll call you back. I'll call you back, Mom. Okay. Love you. Bye. All right, let's get back on track here because that was the main event. Let's go back to the beginning. Paul Heyman was on Friday Night SmackDown unexpectedly. It's always good to see Paulie dangerously. And I was not sure what he was going to say at first because, we're building up Seth versus Cody. Okay, so my thoughts was, okay, we're going to hear Paul Heyman talk about this match between Seth and Cody at Crown Jewel. But no, Paul Heyman started talking about, what are we going to talk about? Are we going to talk about the Vision? Are we going to talk about Braun Breaker? Are we going to talk about Bronson Reed or Brock Lesnar? And I was like, holy shit. Paul Heyman is involved with literally all the top stars in the WWE right now. But then Cody Rhodes interrupts Paul Heyman. And now, after seeing this segment with Paul Heyman and Cody, we're teasing. I felt like the WWE is teasing matches for Cody versus Braun Breaker, versus Bronson Reed, and or versus Brock Lesnar. And I thought, holy shit, okay, not only that, but we have Seth Rollins too in there. So Cody Rhodes has a lot of potential challengers lined up for him just with this one segment facing face to face with Paul Heyman. And I got really excited about this, you guys. What did you guys think about this opening segment?
The problem with most of those is that they're all on different brands. So that's the biggest thing. I didn't get too overly excited about it because I'm thinking of, well, these are all Raw guys he's representing. And I sure as shit don't care or need to see Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes, because Brock's had one match since he's been back. And 2 years ago when he was here, he had a trilogy with Cody. That was his last major feud. And because I'm not even going to be generous and call what he did with John Cena a feud. So, as far as I'm concerned, I don't need to see him versus Cody anytime soon. That trilogy, most of those matches weren't even good. They were like spot fests, just suplex, who can tap the other out, suplex, who can tap the other out, over and over and over again. Crossroad, Trinity, yada, yada. It was the same fucking match 3 times, told different way. Oh, I broke Cody Rhodes' arm. And it was just so classic 2011 Brock versus Triple H. It was so boring. And I don't need to see it again. But Brock has been boring to me for years. When it comes down to it, I like that we got to see the Cody versus, Paul segment, but I would have much rather have seen Seth out there on Cody's turf, the way that Cody was on Seth's turf on Monday. I think that would have served this better. I'm sick and tired of a lot of these feuds and builds being told like with only, we got 2 weeks to the show. And instead of taking as much TV time as you can to build that between these two, you set the match up with one segment after the fucking WrestlePalooza. We have a face-to-face on Raw. Cool. Then you send the mouthpiece down to talk about damn near everything but their match at fucking Crown Jewel. I mean, he talked his way in a circle, Paul, and then it's like, bro, why are you teasing all these other matches? We're here to hype up the match that's in 2 weeks. So who cares about Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed and Brock Lesnar? Let's talk about Seth and Cody and the history of that. And should have been told from Paul's perspective of what it was like seeing Seth take down the tribal chief when Paul was still the wise man at WrestleMania 40. I want to hear what that sounds like, because we saw so many segments or a couple segments between Paul and Cody leading into WrestleMania 40 and 39, where he brought up, Cody's dad and almost cried talking about Dusty and how personal things got with him and Cody. They've had amazing segments together in the past. So as far as I'm concerned, this was really flat for me. There could have been so much more here based around Paul's feelings of watching Cody dethrone his tribal chief, watching Cody take over and become this other thing when Paul was in opposition. Paul should have been, it seems like I'm always against you. I loved your dad, but somehow I'm fated to be in the way and stand in the way of his son. Something like that, because he was against Cody when he was in the bloodline, and he's against Cody now that he's in the vision. Talk about that. Sell that to me. Make me feel like you have a reason to be confronting Cody Rhodes and not Seth fucking Rollins. That's how I feel.
Here's my question. With how much Paul Heyman is bringing up fucking Brock Lesnar, is he joining the Vision at this point? Like, is that what we're leading to? Is Brock Lesnar randomly putting himself in the Vision just so he can be side by side with Paul Heyman again?
No, they're setting up Braun Breaker versus Brock Lesnar at Mania 42 potentially, or what the rumors are talking about.
Okay. So, another thing. Randy Orton coming out. Okay, great. Absolutely love that. You want to know what would have been even better? If what Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes allegedly pitched actually fucking happened. That would have been great. For those of you who didn't listen to the Blood Drop episode, here's what it was. Both of them allegedly pitched Cody losing the title to Drew McIntyre because of an accidental interference from Randy Orton. That would have been so much better, and Randy Orton coming out for this would have made so much more sense. Instead, it was more of a, oh, you're going back and forth with the bronze, I'm going to come out now. That's what it ended up being. So overall, I feel like what was pitched by Cody and Drew McIntyre should have happened at WrestlePalooza, and this would have been a completely different situation, and it would have felt so much better for Randy to randomly come out.
But now we're going to potentially get Randy and Cody as a tag team. Weren't they a tag team back in the day?
Legacy. They were a stable. Those two and Ted DiBiase Jr.
Versus the Vision?
Yeah.
Bro,
I mean, I can see somewhere.
Take my money.
I'm telling you, it's setting up war games. I think what a lot of this is, if I'm being honest, is they're laying the foundation for war games, the teams. The Vision is obviously going to be in war games. Whom their fifth member or fourth member is going to be, if it's 4-on-4, is probably going to be Brock Lesnar. If not Brock Lesnar, I don't know whom would fill in that fourth slot. Maybe a returning Austin Theory, something like that. But then you have the other side, Cody's side. It's got to be Cody, the Usos, LA Knight, and then most likely Randy Orton. So if it is Randy Orton, then that's fine. That tells me the Vision's going to probably get Drew. But again, if they're doing 5-on-5, maybe Brock and Drew join, which would be insane. I don't know how Cody's side gets through that at all at War Games. It's bad enough that Braun Breaker and Bronson are there. You throw in Drew and Brock Lesnar, you might as well just give them the victory.
Bro, I have... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
But at the end of the day, this segment to me felt out of place because it felt like it's building to War Games. Why else would you mention the SmackDown champion potentially having physical altercations with Raw superstars? It sounds to me like they're trying to just lay foundation for War Games, because War Games is in November and they're trying to start.
Maybe this is a conversation for another day, Mr. Blood, but I feel like this War Games is going to be one of the craziest War Games that we have ever seen, because like we got all these potential teams. We're talking about maybe Brock Lesnar joining, maybe John Cena joining, maybe Randy Orton and the Vision, and we got all these fucking potential teams, the Bloodline and all these people, and then we have the fucking TNA and NXT invasion happening, and I'm just like, at this point, I feel so overwhelmed by all the different options that we have for fucking War Games that I don't even know what the fuck is going to happen anymore.
It's the best and worst time to be a wrestling fan. It's the best time for the content and the dream matches we're getting. It's the worst time for the pricing and everything else and the bullshit rhetoric that's going on. But I will say this before we continue. I do think that we have 4 dates of Cena left. We know 2 of them are October 11th in Perth, Australia against AJ Styles. And we know that December 13th is the final match of John Cena at Saturday night's main event to cap off the year. I wonder if the other 2 dates, or at least one of them, without building it, is that in order to get another guy on their side at, let's say, War Games, they ask John Cena, and John Cena gives his answer by showing up to War Games without any build. Just you hear his music and he's on Cody's team. I think that would be kind of cool, because John's never been in War Games. It'd be one last thing to do. I mean, he was in the Rumble this year. He was in the Chamber this year. Like, why not put him in War Games this year too, one last time? So I think that there's so many possibilities that it's hard to figure out where they're going. But that being said, again, this whole segment felt out of place because it felt more like a prelude to War Games rather than a build to Crown Jewel.
All right, let's get back on track here. The first match of the night was one hell of a tag team match, you guys. I really love this one. It was the Street Profits versus Melo and Miz. Now, there's a lot of stuff happening in this random fucking tag team match that we got, because the Street Profits have been having their issues, right? People were speculating that, oh, they're going to split up the Street Profits. And then before the match, the Street Profits are like, yo, we've had our issues, but we're all good. You know, we're back in sync. We ain't breaking up. We're family. We're brothers, you know. And then on the other side, you got Melo and Miz, who started off as like the odd couple, right? But lately they've been working really well together. So it's like opposites attract from both sides. And then the match starts, and then Melo and Miz are looking really good. The Street Profits look like they're kind of struggling in the match. And then the finish of this match was the Street Profits end up working really good together. And Melo and Miz have the miscommunication where they can't work together, which ends up costing them the match. And the Street Profits win. This was one hell of a ride for me. I really enjoyed this because they fucking swerved the shit out of me. I thought this match, the finish of this match was really good. And it looks like Carmelo Hayes is realizing that the Miz is just looking out for himself. And then Carmelo Hayes is going to start focusing on himself, right? Is that what's happening here?
Well, I will tell you that match was great. I've been a massive defender of the Street Profits all year, even though a lot of people were getting sick of them and writing them off. At the end of the day, it's nice to not see every fucking tag team under the sun on SmackDown on TV at the same time for once. What feels like we've been seeing like them all in some combination every week for months on end. That being said, Miz and Melo were never going to work great together for long term because they're both heels and both of their characters are, hey, I'm the arrogant guy who thinks I'm a rock star and that I'm this top grade A-list person everybody wants to be involved with. I'm him. Yeah, well, I'm awesome. And it's one of those things where eventually you're going to miscommunicate because you're both technically looking out for yourselves at all times. And heels never really work together, right? They use each other to further and advance their own interests. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it was a matter of time, or it's going to be a matter of time. I'm just surprised that they're going to do it this early. But yeah, it's no shock Miz and Carmelo are starting to have cracks. They're the same fucking person, essentially, just different generations apart. If anything, aside from wrestling ability, if we're talking about on-screen characters, Carmelo is the Miz of this generation.
Absolutely. Could not agree with you more on that. When it comes to Carmelo being this generation's Miz, it absolutely is fact. There is no doubt about that. Now, when it comes to the cracks, they've been having cracks for a hot minute now. The whole thing of Melo is just about to hit nothing but net. Right there, right on the top corner. All of a sudden, Miz tags in. This was just the first time Melo actually grabbed him and said, "No, you're not doing this to me again." So that whole thing, absolutely loved how that screwed them up a little bit. And gave and gave the Street Profits the win there. Great. And what I absolutely love the most, what happened after. A nonchalant, long-distance face-off for a round 2 of the Street Profits going head-to-head with the Wyatt Six. All of them were standing on top of the announcer's table, just staring the Street Profits down. I am still, and I was for the original match, and I am for this one as well. I am hyped to see the Street Profits go head-to-head with the Wyatt Six. That was a great match before, and this one might even be even better. I hope it is, because this match is going to be awesome.
I'm not. This thing that they did with Carmelo and the Miz and the Street Profits was a lot better than anything the Wyatt Six have done in their fucking title reign, if you can even call it that.
They also haven't used them during this title reign, so just saying.
The Wyatt Six can stay off my TV and I'll be okay with that. All right, let's move on. We had a women's tag team match, Mia Yim and B-Fab versus Kiana James and the women's United States champion, Julia. And this match lasted longer than 5 seconds, which is a lot more than Kiana James' last match versus, was it 6 seconds? Yeah. Last time Kiana James wrestled versus Mia Yin Michin or whatever people call her nowadays, I don't even know. It was like a 5-6 second match, but this tag team match was actually, you know what? We actually got to see Kiana James longer than 6 seconds today, and she is not half bad. Kiana James got she got a little fire to her, bro. She's actually really fucking good. She looked really good in this match. I was really impressed by Kiana James. I got to be honest. I want to see more of Kiana James. She's a lot better than B-Fab and fucking Mia Yin. That's for damn sure. I don't know about Julia, but this whole thing, this match, I actually got to see Kiana James. I haven't seen her on NXT, but I'm really looking forward the turn on Julia. And if we see Julia versus Kiana James down the line, I would be down for that.
Really?
Yeah.
I couldn't give less of a fuck.
Did you watch this match?
Hell no, I didn't waste my time.
Bro, Kiana James
I
is good. She is good.
And that's good for her. Couldn't give a shit about this division right now, specifically the United States title division. Let me ask you a question. Why is your United States champion in a tag match? Why is your United States champion never featured? Why is your United States champion forgettable? How come I keep forgetting the United States championship for the women even exists? You know why? Because WWE isn't telling me I should care about it. And if they keep telling me I shouldn't care about it, I'm not going to care about it. So when it came down to it, who do I not care about in this match that WWE does not tell me I should care about? They never tell me to care about Michin. They never tell me to care about Kiana James when they even remember to put her on TV. They never tell me to care about Julia when they forget to put her on TV and never feature her on PLEs as a fucking champion. And they sure as shit don't ever tell me to care about B-Fab whenever they decide that they remember she's employed with them, so they put her on TV. Shit, I'm not sure who's on TV less, her or Maxine Dupree. So as far as it's concerned, skippable.
Fair enough, dude. But I think that this is the start of getting Kiana James over. She's got something, bro. Kiana James has something, bro. I'm telling you. We got to start paying more attention to her.
I said this in our chat. Surprise, surprise. You start using people that you have hired and they're actually good? What? You actually use someone and they're better than before? No dip. Like, of course, you've had her in the fucking background all this time, and her first match back ends up being a 6-second match just put in for Michin just to have a win finally. And now you put her in a tag match and she's actually good? Yes. Because odds are, behind the scenes, she's actually been trading and all of that more.
How long would you say this match was?
I would probably say
7 minutes, 8 minutes.
Yeah, like 7, 8.
Yeah.
So we never fucking use these girls, but we make them fly out here for half a cup of coffee. Hell, you could have made a fresh pot, had a cup left in gorilla position, had this match, came back, and it'd still be warm. So it's one of those things where they're not utilizing these women to the best of their ability, the best of their potential. Michin can't ever get a win unless it's a surprise roll-up. So tell me the last time Michin won a match where she definitively beat someone and put them down without shenanigans involved or without a roll-up or without a surprise victory, where she hit them with a fucking finish and they were done.
Well, that's the thing about Michin. Most of her matches are like fucking hardcore matches for some reason.
Exactly. So. Because exactly. Kiana James, I've seen her in NXT. I've seen stuff that she's done. Kiana James, all jokes aside of this being a piss break match, she is very talented. She has a lot of potential. You'd think sticking her with Julia would get her a lot more spark on her, except they don't know how to book Julia, who was the biggest deal in the fucking NXT locker room a year ago, next to Stephanie Vaquer. That was the talk of the fucking town. Julia is now relegated to essentially undercard fodder, and she's a champion. So
After
how is
tonight,
this going to build up Kiana James when you won't even build up the person she's tagged with?
after tonight, I'm like more sold on Kiana James than Julia.
100, and that's a problem. Julia is your champion. If anything, as experienced as Julia is as your champion, that should be giving the rub to Kiana because she's attached to Julia.
Yeah, here's my issue. You have three of the biggest women when they were in NXT, that being Tiffany Stratton, Julia, and Stephanie Vaquer.
All
Those
champions.
three. Yeah, all champions. Two of them you don't even know what the fuck to do with, and one of them you just put a rocket on her. So it just makes no sense with that on why the hell you don't know what the hell to do with Tiffany Stratton and Julia, but yet, hey, we're just going to put a rocket on Stephanie Vaquer right now. So it just makes no sense. And I'm actually starting to get worried about that because of the fact that one of these is your WWE Women's Champion, and you still don't know what the hell to do with her to the point where she barely shows up as it is.
And that's the problem. All three of these girls were on NXT in 2024. Tiffany Stratton got called to the main roster in February of last year. Julia and Stephanie debuted basically in NXT sometime last spring and summer, right? So as far as concerned, how come all three of these women, Julia, Stephanie, Tiffany, all on NXT, big stars in NXT, big deals in NXT, all last year, okay, all in last year's calendar, are now all champions on the main roster? Tiffany can't seem to figure out what she's doing, and they don't know what they're doing with her because she's been champion for like 7 months and they've done almost nothing with her. Okay. Stephanie, they finally pulled the trigger on her after she was off TV for being incredibly sick for over a month. That's not her fault. But then you've had Julia on the main roster on SmackDown for like 3.5, 4 months where you randomly put her in a tag team with fucking Stephanie. Then you dropped it out of nowhere. Or I think it was Stephanie. But as far, I can't remember at this point, they debuted on Raw together and then all of a sudden they split them out of nowhere and then someone turned on the other one. I don't fucking know. The point is, if you don't know what you're doing, why are the fans supposed to know what you're doing? And more importantly, if you don't know what you're doing, how are the fans supposed to care?
Yeah, the problem that I was having at first, like going back to Kiana James again, okay. The way that the WWE is presenting her is so fucking cliche. Like, let's put, the fucking push-up bra on her, the fucking sexy secretary glasses, and we're gonna make her, like this fucking, flamboyant character walking around with the purse, and like she just comes off like every other fucking girl from NXT, so that automatically just throws me off, I'm just like,
you know what they did to her? They gave her the Alicia Fox treatment. Do you remember when Alicia Fox debuted on SmackDown all those years ago in the Edge and Vicky Guerrero storyline? She was the secretary in the back with the glasses in a push-up bra, super zany personality, having an affair with Edge, having conflicts of interest with Vicky Guerrero. It's exactly how they're doing to Kiana James now. And it's like, I've seen this show before. Why not just put the girl on the roster in matches and show off how good she is?
You know why? Because if they did that, she would get over, bro. She would get over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're all about building new stars. Fucking prove it.
All right, let's move on, Mr. Blood. I wasn't going to talk about this, but just for you, I'm going to do it just for you, okay? Because I'm sure you are really happy about this backstage segment. The women's tag team champions, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, were watching closely to this tag team match with the women's U.S. champion and Kiana James versus the other girls, right? But guess who stepped into the picture? None other than your girl, Sol Ruka NZ from NXT. But what was it like, Mr. Blood, to see your girls, both of them, Charlotte Flair and Sol Ruka, in the same picture frame for you tonight? See, the WWE was like, we're going to do this specifically for you, Mr. Blood.
You know, it's a love-hate relationship with WWE sometimes, because sometimes WWE taketh and sometimes they give it to me all at once. And let me tell you, I'm for those of you who are uninitiated, my favorite female wrestler of all time is Charlotte Flair. My favorite current up-and-coming rising superstar on NXT is Sol Ruca from the women's division. I think she is the future of the women's division on the main roster. She is charismatic over as hell, has a great look. The fans love her, and she is athletic as the day is long. I mean, it's literally like, it's like looking at Charlotte reincarnated in this generation. Back when Charlotte first debuted in the main roster, she was the gymnast from fucking hell, like in a great way. When I look at Sol, I see everything right with the women's division. Positive attitude, works fucking hard, great look, super charismatic and entertaining. The fans love her. She can wrestle one fucking hell of a match. Her finish pops a crowd. That's everything you want in a superstar for a main roster. People care about her. So when I see her in frame with the most important and prestigious women's wrestler of WWE's modern history in Charlotte Flair, that's a big deal, because it tells me they're seeing something in her, and that gets me excited for her future in this company. And even if she's not in this company, the stock that will rise in her career outside of this company if she were to ever leave it. But this was good for me, because this to me shows WWE going, hey, we see that you are currently, we think that you have something special, so we're going to put you in a segment with someone who is literally the most decorated women's wrestler of all time. That's a big deal for her career. So to me, that's an A+.
I'm sorry. I saw the team of, I'm not even sure what their name is. Is it We're Not Friends? I don't fucking know.
Back off my girls, Tommy.
But I'm just saying, those two, and then you've got Zaruka. I take my fucking money. Take my fucking money. Give us that women's tag team championship match right there. Take my fucking money.
Give it to me at Crown Jewel. Give it to me at Crown Jewel. There's already champion versus champions everywhere else. Do it here.
Yeah, I just really at this point, I know they said, hey, get in line, all of that, but girls, who else is trying to step to you two right now? So please give me that fucking tag match. Please.
All right, easy there, fellas. We'll see what happens with the women's tag team championship match, and if we don't, I'll be okay with that too.
It would be extremely exciting, though. It would be a great worked match. You're talking about well worked. Charlotte versus Sol would be incredible.
Yeah, I bet you think that, you sick freak.
Give them to me at the same time on TV in a match.
You fucking animal. Jacob Fatu is back, y'all. Sacktown's finest. We were wondering, where the hell has Jacob Fatu been? That boy just fucking disappeared from the fucking earth out of nowhere. He showed up after Drew McIntyre. And again, man, I don't know, Mr. Blood. I was thinking about you a lot through this fucking episode of SmackDown with everything that happened with Sol Ruca and Charlotte Flair. And then Drew McIntyre comes out and he fucking starts blaming the referee about after losing his match versus Cody Rhodes. And I was like, God damn, Mr.
Which
Blood.
we knew he was going to do. We said that in the review of WrestlePalooza. They've given him an excuse to go out there and preach on his pulpit like he always does and bitch and say, I got screwed. I had Cody beat 2 times and the ref screwed me every single time. You know, Bloodline this and Cody Rhodes that every fucking time.
And we were wondering, Drew McIntyre should have fucking won at fucking WrestlePalooza versus Cody Rhodes, because what else is he going to do if he doesn't win? He didn't win, and we were wondering, well, what the fuck is going to happen with Drew McIntyre?
Yeah. Who else is
Jacob Fatu comes out.
Who else is he going to feud with? Like, I hate that they keep slingshotting him between mid-card and main roster over and over again. Like he came over to SmackDown with Damian. They were feuding there. Okay, now those two are in it. They're both main eventers. They're both former world champions. Then you're like, oh, but we'll put him, then let's throw him in the mid card and let's have him and Logan Paul feud with Randy Orton and fucking Jelly Roll. Okay. Then we get out of that. Now he's going to go on a bit of a break. Then he comes back. Oh, hey, now he's got a problem with Cody. And it's like, bro, can y'all just keep him consistently like in one division? What is it? What do you want? What do you need? Like, please. So for me, I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say here with this. It's good to see Solo because, in my opinion, though they've turned him into comedy fodder, he has been a very consistent player for over a year on SmackDown. I'm assuming he went away for a bit of a break, maybe vacation or something, some time off, because he has been on every fucking SmackDown live event tours and everything for a year. He deserves a break. But at the same time, please don't put these two together. I need Drew to stay in the main event or just put his ass back over on Raw. Like, please, because who else can he feud with that's going to fucking mean any goddamn thing on SmackDown? Who else? He had the feud with Randy Orton. He had the feud with Cody Rhodes. He had the feud with Damian Priest. You could have done Braun Strowman. Oh, you fired him. He had, he could have fucking, like, who else is there that's going to fucking matter? Okay. Aleister Black. Sure, let's just keep Drew in the mid-card vortex. Even though that is a former 2-time world champion, okay, that defeated Brock Lesnar for fuck's sakes, but somehow you'll make him have trouble with mid-carders. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't compute with me. It's hard to stay invested in McIntyre after the year he had last year. A really good fucking year. And then not get frustrated watching them struggle to figure out where they want to put him on the card any given month of the year. Because he's gone from main event and steel cage matches and, WrestleMania and fucking world title matches to celebrity tag match at fucking here. And it's like, dude, come on, bro. Just keep him in a straight line for a year, please. For one fucking year, keep him in a straight line.
Well, Blood, you know who else that we have been saying needs to be pulled up to main event status that has also slightly been stuck in mid-card? Why not put Drew McIntyre against the man that you meant to say, Jacob fucking Fatu?
Oh, yeah, Jacob Fatu. Did I say Solo? Okay.
You kept saying Solo.
Sorry.
I did that too the other day.
All those Polynesians look alike. Oh, wait.
Whoa. Whoa.
Hey, I get told every single day, you look like the Usos. So
y'all look the same.
Wow. As far as the Mexicans saying that over here. But as far as it's concerned, that's okay. They can't all look like you. They're actually handsome. But as far as it's concerned, look, Jacob versus Drew is great. What are the stakes? There's no title involved. So this is just another feud for McIntyre to be like mad at somebody over. To be like, I don't like you. And I know that not every feud needs a title. For fuck's sakes, it's Drew McIntyre, for Christ's sakes. A lot of his feuds feel like if they're not personal enough, that you need a title. Otherwise, it kind of feels boring. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah, but I also look at this. I'm like, what better way to put Jacob Fatu in the main event scene than to put him up against a 2-time world champion? So that would be one hell of a match.
A 2-time world champion who can't ever seem to win. At least win the title and hold it.
He still proved that during the pandemic era, but still. But I still feel like Jacob Fatu going up against Drew McIntyre would be one hell of a match. And I think that at some point, probably Crown Jewel, maybe a little bit further down the line, that might be what we're getting here. And I would be so fucking stoked for that.
I would love to see it. Hopefully it's a one-on-one fall, a single fall match. Please do not make this another DQ. I feel like Drew and Jacob have been in a lot of no DQs this year. I feel like I feel like all the no DQ matches are getting booked on SmackDown. Have you noticed that? Like everything is no disqualification with SmackDown. You got fucking what? Like you were saying it yourself, Snug. You feel like all we've seen lately are no DQ stipulations throughout all the summer. And if they're gonna do this, I don't need stakes, man. I don't need a steel cage match. Okay, I don't need a lumberjack match or just one-on-one best man win, please. No ref bump, because there's always a ref bump in a Drew match. No ref bump. Just pinfall or submission. Best man fucking wins. Brute strength versus brute strength. Please. That's it. Sometimes it just needs to be that simple.
I'm always down for that. Just like I'm always down for this next match and the final match that we're going to be talking about tonight. The Sami Zayn United States Championship Open Challenge. They're in Orlando, and I should have known that it was going to be someone from NXT because I was wondering who's going to come out, who's going to answer to this open challenge. And we saw Shinsuke Nakamura creeping in the back in a backstage segment. And I was thinking, are we going to get Shinsuke versus Sami Zayn tonight? No, it was Javon Evans. And I'm like, okay, yes, let's do this because NXT is having their PLE tomorrow night. No Mercy. So Javon Evans, he came out, he answered, and right off the bat, I was like, okay, this match is going to be crazy because that boy bouncy, and it was crazy, and he got bouncy, and Sami Zayn made Javon Evans look really fucking good going into his match at No Mercy tomorrow night. What a fucking great showing for Javon Evans, man. This kid, he's so young and he's so good. He kind of reminds me of like Dominic Mysterio, not because they wrestle the same style, because they don't. Javon Evans, he's a lot more high flying, a lot more athletic. Not saying Dominic is not athletic, but Javon Evans has a crazier style, but it reminded me of Dominic Mysterio in a sense that these two guys are really young and really good for their age. And when they get older, I can't wait to see what they can do because they're going to get bigger. They're going to get more mature, not just in the ring, but like physically. And this kid, Javon Evans, he's going to be so fucking good in like the next 5 years, I think. So I was really glad to see him on SmackDown tonight. He had a hell of a match versus Sami Zayn. This was really fucking fun, I thought. But what'd you guys think?
I'll keep it short for the sake of time. Javon Evans, this was a very, very good decision. If you're already over in Orlando, for those of you who don't know, they were an hour away from where I live right now. And if I drove, faster than I'm supposed to, 45 minutes. But as far as it goes, man, this is WWE utilizing the fact that, hey, we're in the same city tonight as where we hold NXT, and all of our NXT talent live around Full Sail University where we hold NXT anyway. We might as well, while we have the stage, pick someone and put them in a match to highlight them. And tonight, that was Javon Evans, in my opinion, having the biggest match of his entire career. And Sammy, obviously one of the greatest wrestlers of his generation, and Javon Evans, really a rising star in his generation, and I don't think that's disputable. These two had a great match. I think yes, Tommy.
Go ahead, you're good.
But I think that this was a phenomenal idea. If you don't utilize the opportunity to build new stars, what is the point? So tonight, if you're in the same city and you go, hey, we're going to put one of these NXT guys on the main roster in a title match to highlight NXT because we're in the same city, that's a great fucking idea. And Javon was the perfect kid in my opinion, because Javon, snappy, high flyer, crisp as fuck in the ring. Everything he does, he makes it look easy as hell. It's like Jeff Hardy and Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton had a baby. And Javon is not the biggest guy in the world, but the kid can move. As far as I'm concerned, this is the biggest match of his career. He's worked his ass off for an opportunity like this to be broadcast on a stage this large. I'm here for it. I think WWE needs to do this more often whenever they get the chance. And I understand they can't because they're not always having, main roster TV is not in Florida all the time. And they were only in Florida tonight because that's where the show was. So we were in Orlando. Let's use one of the wrestlers from NXT who lives in Orlando, Javon Evans. But more of that if possible, please, because this to me was a fantastic match. That should have been the main event.
Yeah, I completely agree. I will say that I also thought that it was going to be Shinsuke Nakamura because he's been hiding in the background for weeks around this specific title. So I thought it was going to be Shinsuke Nakamura. But as soon as I heard that boy is bouncy, the first thing that popped into my head is the one man that is not here because he's got other things that he's got going on right now. Our boy Toxic has to be hyped as soon as he heard that. He is a massive Javon Evans fan, so he had to be absolutely hyped when he heard his theme hit and Javon Evans come out to answer the open challenge that Sami Zayn put out. So all of that, I am so hyped for that. That was absolutely amazing. I love the fact that they pulled up Javon Evans because of the fact that if there's any person that needs it, it would be Javon Evans, especially since he's had his time going after the NXT title quite a bit. He's gone up against he's gone up against Oba. He's gone up against the TNA title holder that I cannot remember for the life of me what the hell his name is.
Trick Williams.
But yes, Trick. So he's gone up against Trick. He's gone up against Oba. He's had his time with the NXT title and going up and competing for that. So I am so glad that he was the man that came after the United States title instead of Shinsuke Nakamura, because I'm pretty sure all three of us can agree we do not need another Shinsuke Nakamura United States title reign. We
Started
just
the
don't
year
need
off
that.
with that bullshit. Don't need it again. We had the whole beginning of that year with that conundrum ass shit going into Mania with him in LA and Jacob. Never, please, not again. Case in point, Javon Evans has worked his ass off for a spot this big, and you could argue that the WWE United States title is bigger than even that of the TNA World title because it's a main roster WWE championship. So to me, this is the biggest match of his career, and I think he took that opportunity and he knocked it out of the park.
Don't forget he also wrestled Randy Orton on NXT a few months ago. I think that was his biggest match.
But not for a title, a championship on main roster TV.
Yeah, well, it's Randy Orton. So
it's Randy Orton, but Randy's not a champion.
But it's Randy Orton. All right, that was the Snug Wrestling Podcast SmackDown review with me, your host. My name is Edgar, Mr. Blood and Tommy. Mr. Blood, take us home.
I'm going to take your ass out. And that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Snug Wrestling. Thanks for kicking it with us as always. We appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. Don't forget, we're live every Monday and Friday night right after Raw and SmackDown go off the air on YouTube, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, and Facebook for live post-show reviews. And as a bonus for reaction content during the weekly WWE broadcasts on all of our socials. Then hang out with us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific on TikTok Live, where myself, Mr. Blood, and the leader of Snug Wrestling, that handsome Mexican over there, Edgar, do our weekly one-on-ones where we do dive into random wrestling topics, and answer your questions on air. So follow Snug Wrestling on all social media platforms, as well as on Apple and Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, folks, stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug. And for our boy Toxic, who ain't here because he's doing school things, that was one time for the one time. That was 4 letters.
4 letters. One word.
Yeet.